This little video goes through um, uh, the problem we were trying to solve with our app, our database manager app. And I'm sure that you very well may run into this very same problem. So, just to give you some information here, uh, I'm looking right now at our Google Cloud platform and the instance that is running our MySQL server, where all our AppMaker databases are stored. Okay, and if you're familiar with AppMaker, unless you make a custom database SQL connection, which you can then name, as you can see, this one's named here. There's probably a few down here that are named RV Production. Those are named, but by default, AppMaker makes behind the scenes makes a database for you using a universally unique identifier. It's just basically a bunch of letters and numbers here. And just looking at this list, you really don't know what any of these are attached to. And so if you are an admin or in charge of this instance, you won't have any idea whether these are databases that folks use or don't use. And during the course of development, you could create a database and put a bunch of test data in it. And then once you deployed it, never use that again. There is a number of different things that can happen. Also remember that when you delete, if a user deletes their app off their drive, it does not automatically delete the associated database and its data. So you can have folks building stuff, using stuff short term, deleting it off their drive, and then having it sit on your instance here, taking up space and incurring charges without any benefit to anybody. So it would be nice to have a tool to somehow organize this, get a sense of what these are and who they're associated with and what have you. So that was kind of the goal of our app that we created. Now, one way you could do this is to have all your users go into their app, go into the data, okay, and go to the databases and go to the settings and finally find their database key. And this key right here is actually that universally unique identifier that Google uses to find. So you go in here, if you have access to this, you could do a find within here, you could paste that, and there it is. So this database right here is associated with my Hilltop college football app. All right. But that's a lot of stuff, and a lot of users, don't necessarily want to do that. You'd have to walk them through how to get there, what have you. So that's sort of the impetus of why we created this app that you can download. And what this app does is it basically has a list of databases, and it's the same list that you see over here, has all the unique identifiers looking at the same place. And if you also, when you click on one of these, so let's click the tracker here, you can see the list of all the tables that are associated. So this gives you a clue to what this might be used for. And as you click on it, it'll actually show the data inside it too if you have access to the data. Okay, so let's click on the company store here. I can click on different things here. And you can see the data along the side. And that might give you, and you can scroll up and down through the data, whatever you want to do. If I click on Event Manager here, I can click on different things over here and I can see the listings for the stuff. I can see the companies, all that kind of stuff. And it'll scroll up and down, okay? And you can see all this stuff. Works pretty slick. It'll automatically expand to the width that it needs. Like if I go to email log here, you can see that it formats itself appropriately. So that's really helpful because then I might be able to look at some of this data and kind of figure out what it is, right? So if I'm scrolling around here, I don't know what this is. If I click on it, I see, oh, roster, and I look at it and say, oh, okay, this is, Coach Joe's football roster. So I can say, Joe's this football tracker. So now, when I come back to this, don't have to look this up and try to figure out what it is. If I'm in another place, I can see right here, it's Joe's football tracker. And then I can ask the folks if you're still using that data, whether this is old. And if I find out, or the admin finds out that they can uh, delete one of these because it's an orphaned database, why, they can just hover over and hit this X here and delete it. And that does the same thing as you know, selecting the trash can here. So that's basically what we've got here, a simple way to organize and manage your databases that are on your Google Cloud, making the sort of kooky, indecipherable UUID, something that'll help you determine whether or not you need that database and whether or not you need to keep that information going forward.